How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Fourever Arsenal podcast. Big up Jordan, big up Lee, and big up James. Hope everyone is all good and well. The Europa League first leg fixture against Sporting has just been played. We're recording this a few hours after the game ended in a 2-2 draw. We went 1-0 up. They went 2-1 up. And we got a goal back to make it 2-2 before the second leg next Thursday at the Emirates, 8 p.m. And we're going to get into it all. And I'm going to go straight to Lee Judges, who's over there in Portugal right now. What's the weather like over there? Nice?
It's been very nice today, nice and sunny. We actually left in snow. We had to sit on the in the airplane for 4 hours. 4 hours.
What was the delay? I heard about this. What was it?
Yeah, so we had to stay in there for 4 hours. Waiting for the de-icer to come around. Now, can you believe this? Gatwick, right, has only got one de-icer in the whole. Ridiculous.
I actually can.
It's incredible, like, you know what I mean? So we had to wait for that to come round. And when, so you imagine it like you've got to sit there for 4 hours. We were sitting there, and then we got a 3-hour journey. But when they come and do the de-icing of the wings and that, they have to turn off the air conditioning. So you're for an hour, you're in this plane and you're now sweating like anything. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was an incredible. It weren't the best of experiences, I have to say. Like, you know what I mean? But and then we, as it happens, by the time they come round the de-icer, all the snow had melted. It was a ridiculous waste of time. But they still had to do it because just in case it happened, anyway, we've got all that on film. I'm sure you'll love that, though. So
I would have lost my head.
Yeah, so very
What a
exciting.
watch that will be.
Yeah, it'd be a fantastic. It'd be like the old, be like the tactical show, wouldn't it? Like, you know what I mean? What sends you to sleep the quickest? You know what I mean? Hey, the tactical show wins by a day.
But in our defence, we do it in half an hour. You took 4 hours of filming, so.
Oh no, it was tough. I've got to say it was tough. But listen, it was. We had a great trip over here, and I've got to say the game was a very good game. I don't know. Did you watch it, Jordan? But I'm just saying, it was a good game, though.
Yes, I did watch it, Lee.
It was a good game. It was a good game.
I like how everyone goes silent to actually find out if Jordan.
I know. Everyone thinks actually, I'm thinking the same thing.
I did.
What did you make of Tierney's performance?
Don't try it. Don't try it.
Listen, I understand. I don't know if you've got the news over there, but a few of them were ill over here. Odegaard apparently travelled and wasn't fit enough to make it. Vieira apparently was touch and go whether he could play or not. And of course,
the carrier pigeon hadn't arrived yet, so appreciate that bit of insight.
No, I don't know if you knew that, if you was hearing that over there or not. I don't, because we're so busy over here, we didn't know, like, you know what I mean. But what we was told that Odegaard had travelled, but weren't fit enough to play. I don't know if he come back home or he's come home with a team or whatever. I don't know what happens here.
Well, apparently, Odegaard ill, Tierney ill, and Fabio Vieira he couldn't do media duties or something because he had a really bad throat, but was able to play. So yeah, something's gone wrong.
Is that all right? So I don't know if they go straight back home or because when you're on a plane, that's when it spreads a little bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like, you know what I mean. So I hope we don't have that going into the Fulham game. But all in all, I've got to say, I thought it was a good game. We just got the big problem for me now, and it's becoming an issue with me now, is this defending. Again, far too many chances given away again today. And I don't know how you guys see it but I was disappointed with that today. Like, we're so open, but it does make it for an entertaining game. So, and I suppose at the end of the day, a 2-2 wasn't a bad result.
Fair result, I'd say.
Yeah, I thought fair.
Yeah, and on the open thing, I think it was open because our passing was so poor that we was giving it away and finding ourselves short on the counter attack. That was the main reason behind the space they had, in my opinion. I've said it on my interview. Probably the poorest showing of passing I've seen from us all season. Yeah,
very sloppy.
Very sloppy. usually we like to start with the positives, but we've already gone into the negatives and a 2-2 draw. There is some positives to take for sure from that because we're still in the ascendancy. We should still get the job done at home. But there is also the negatives, and we talked about conceding goals on the last show, and we conceded a couple more in poor fashion as well. If I'm honest with you, I mean, let's start with our goal. I think that's probably the best place to start it with. If I'm honest, Jordan, talk to us first and foremost. Opening half and going 1-0 up.
Yeah, it was a positive start. I thought we deserved to take the lead, first of all. I don't think we had the energy. This might be because we're in the back end of the season now, but we're not having the energy at the start of games that we had in the first, I think, 15 or so games of the season, where every game we were just like, it was like, wow, we were on it. I didn't see that in this particular match. The atmosphere didn't really help. I often wonder in European games if players like playing against a vociferous and loud opposition because it kind of gets you going. It's kind of something to push back against. But when the Sporting fans aren't, on it, if that just kind of makes you play a little bit flat. I didn't think we were particularly aggressive in that first opening period, but I thought we deserved to take the lead. Decent goal. I think the second goal that we scored when we were 2-1 down was lucky. Was very, very lucky.
To say the least.
It was very lucky. We can't deny it. Was that goal was pure fortune. But I think on the basis of our play, I think we deserved the draw. But I think, as Lee said, we're all probably going to say it. The defending is concerning. We're just letting in. It's not even that we're letting in too many goals. We're letting in too many chances. Yeah. Way too many chances. I'm telling you, if we continue to defend like this, we're not going to win the league. We are literally wishing the league away and the Europa League away. You can't win the Europa League or the Premier League and defend like that. I'm watching games now, and I genuinely don't have faith in us keeping clean sheets, and that's not a good place to be. That's not a good place to be. We're meant to be closing in now on the back end of the season, and I should be confident that my team can keep a clean sheet. We might not, but I should be confident that we can, and I'm not. And it's concerning. And if we don't sort it out quickly, Turkish, we're going to finish second. City will. We can't let in the amount of chances we're letting in and goals we're letting in and maintain this lead. We just can't do it. Yeah. So it's concerning. Just briefly on the goal that they scored, but I think both goals that we let in were poor. Really, really poor. Just cheap goals. The first goal, Kivior, I don't know what he was doing. It looked like he ducked or tried to get out of the way. I don't know what he was doing there. And the second goal, the guy that's assisted it has gone through two players very easily. And as he's kind of cut it across, or he's kind of shot across, the guy that's ended up scoring it has beaten another two players to the ball. Just a poor, just cheap, shitty goals that we need to stop. Otherwise, we're not going to win this league. So yeah, it's not over. It's halfway, 2-2. I'd have taken that if they offered that me pre-game. But the wider problem is we're not solid. And I think at this point in the season, it's a massive concern.
Well, I mean, you say it's more so the chances we're conceding than the goals, but we conceded a fair few goals. I mean, two against Sporting, 2 against Villa, 2 against Bournemouth, 3 against City. I think we've had 2 clean sheets in the last 10, 11 games. If I'm not
but it wouldn't be so bad, Turkish, if Lisbon scored 2 goals but had 3 chances.
Yeah,
they had 4 or 5 chances. Do you know what I mean?
Well, they had the best chance before we scored our goal. I mean,
agree.
All over the top, halfway line. The guy
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Goal cuts in very easily. If I'm honest with you, Saliba kind of commits himself far too eagerly and gave him the option to cut in, which was the better option for him. And it was just a poor finish from the Sporting player. And listen, on our goal, I mean, beautiful corner from Vieira. And I guess he, for me, would be one of the positives if I'm looking at performances today. Could be better, don't get me wrong, but I actually enjoyed seeing Vieira play and his set pieces we already know about. And that corner was beautiful. It was put into a perfect area, and Saliba nodded it in. I mean, there was a bit of ruckus with Zinchenko after, and upon watching the replay, I'm surprised it wasn't ruled out because it was a foul, and I actually thought it would be ruled out if they was to check it on VAR. I actually don't know if they did check it on VAR, but whether they did or didn't, VAR was iffy throughout because Martinelli got a yellow card for something Xhaka did later on in the game, and the referee seemed pretty clueless throughout. But that kind of goes without saying nowadays in terms of referees, not just in England, but in the Europa League it seems as well. But yeah, James, we watched it together. You was on the information station. I was on the Matchday Live sofas. First half, talk to us. We started by conceding a big chance to them. They didn't score. We capitalized, went 1-0 up.
Yeah. Weird because I kind of thought we were good value for that 1-0 lead. And weren't doing anything special. But then the momentum sort of swung. They got their goal. Then they had a few chances. Thought Marcus Edwards looked good, looked bright for them. I'll be honest, I will talk about the game, a slightly bigger picture, not just the first half. Sorry to ignore your question, but I get the fears about the defending. And look, I was calling it out in a 4-0 win after Everton. So trust me, I'm on board with the whole we're conceding too many chances thing. But whether I'm actually worried about it long term, I think that's something that Arteta's never neglected. You know, he came in, he signed a lot of centre-backs at the club. Gabriel, Kivior, Rob Holding, new deal, Ben White, Pablo Mari. He signed a lot of defenders, Tomiyasu. So I actually am confident that he will address it. While it's not looking good, it's not been a trend of the season. Sometimes goals dry up and sometimes you go through a spell of leaking a few. I mean, look, set piece is a big part of that. I mean,
has it been a trend post World Cup?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Post World Cup, we've conceded far too many goals. But again, I know that feels like a long time, but it feels like it's all kind of come and gone quite quickly, that period since the start of the World Cup. So it's a weird one. But then having said that, we've still been scoring a lot of goals, and that's without Gabby Jesus. So I wouldn't say I'm not worried about it, but I sort of just trust that they will know and will address it. I mean, we went something like, 25, 28 games last season in the league without conceding a goal from a corner, and that's, and this season we've been far more susceptible to it. So I kind of believe that the people are there to do. I also believe that you can't be great at everything all the time. I think in a lot of recent games, the task has been breaking teams down. Can you break Bournemouth down? Can you break Everton down twice, by the way, home and away? Can you break Brentford down? Who else have we played? There's been one or two others that were similar. And I know Man City didn't really count, but I think my point is, I think the focus has been on Arsenal trying to score goals, attack while they've missed Jesus. They've been integrating Trossard and all this, and we've just been a bit more open at the back. So hopefully they strike that balance. That's why I was so praising of the Leicester win. Of all of them, that 1-0 win was by far the least exciting of the wins we've had. 4-0 Everton, 3-2 Bournemouth. But it was the one I was just a 4-2 Villa. So one I was just easily the most impressed by in terms of the way we just controlled every element of that game. So hopefully we can get, that wasn't that long ago. Hopefully we can get back to that. And I think we'll be okay. I didn't think the performance was bad today. I really didn't. It wasn't our scintillating best. We didn't create loads of chances, but we created a fair few. We could easily have scored a third or fourth today. And we did fine. And they could have had a third or fourth and all to play for at the Emirates.
I think it's a good point James makes there, Turkish, in that it wasn't a brilliant performance, but it wasn't bad. It's a two-legged European tie. If you can go to an away game in the first leg and play a 6 out of 10 and come back with a draw, you kind of take that.
Yeah.
If that's as bad as it's going to get for us, I'll take that. I'm just kind of got my Premier League head on half as well. I'm just thinking, is there a crossover between performances? But no, if you look at it as a European tie, you take that. You went there, you come back with a draw. They've got, I think, 2 of their key players suspended for the second leg, I think.
Coates and I think Paulinho is the other one.
So if we can't win that game at home, we don't deserve to go through.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And Sporting is, not an easy place to go to. It was never disrespect when we was talking about rotating the team. We were just confident in the squad now more than ever in the last few years. But, there's a pattern here. Everyone wants to talk about defence and conceding goals. So let's talk about the corner kick that led to Sporting's first goal, because Jordan's already mentioned it with Kivior. And don't get me wrong, 100%, we have to look at Kivior there and wonder why. my initial reaction was, what is this guy doing? But as I watched it again and again, I just thought to myself, Turner must have made a shout to him. He must have made a shout, because as the ball's coming in, Turner takes 2 steps forward. Your ducks and like, kind of, not necessarily ducks, he kind of just flinches underneath the ball. Turner takes 2 steps back. And then Martinelli, obviously, he lost his man in that moment, and they go get their goal. But if you look at the overall picture when that corner was coming in, not one single Arsenal player jumped. I don't think I've ever seen that from a corner. Maybe I haven't been paying close attention. Not one single Arsenal. And I'm not going to say that worries me, but what I will say is that confused me, because even if you're not going to get the ball, jumping can, ruin the eyesight of the person behind you or the opposition player behind you, and cause issues in that regard. No one jumped, and out of everything in that corner, I think that was the worst thing from it. I know everyone's focusing on the Kivior thing, and I get that, but like I said, Kivior, Turner, Martinelli, and in general, everyone in that box, what was they actually doing? Lee, everyone knows you was at the game. What did you make of it? Because I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it back yet. But
no, funny enough, we were just in the bar in the hotel, and they just put it on, and we sort of said, "Oh, we won't watch it." But I'm getting a bit worried about our set pieces now. Very, very vulnerable. Like, Bournemouth just a week ago, 3-header really coming in and scoring against us. We're 2-0 down there. And today's one, I think, like what I see of it looked like Turner perhaps was a little bit of fault. I'm not going to go too mad about that there, because they're too new. They're not normally in the unit of playing every game, like, so maybe they just lost their little bit of concentration or something. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? But I just feel with our general defending at this moment in time, what worries me, I don't know if you noticed it, is that when they conceded that goal and the second goal, there's an acceptance. I don't like that. Like going back to,
actually know what you mean. Yeah.
Years ago, I remember it being at Sheffield United when we lost 1-0, and where we was at Sheffield United was right behind the goal. And they scored from a set piece, and everybody just went, all right, just picked the ball up and went back. There was no accountability and all that, like, man. Like the second goal, for instance, he's parried it out. There's 3 players around. If you have a look at that, when the ball goes in, I think I counted 7 Arsenal players in the box to their 2, and they've scored. Come on, guys, that is not good enough, and doesn't show a desire and a hunger to defend. Yeah. And then when the goal goes in, there's an oh well, you know what I mean. And Jordan's right, what we said earlier on. Oh well, we'll score again. We can score again, which we did. But there's going to be a time when we're not. And it's going to cause us problems. I want to see us be a bit more aggressive with our defending. I know, I'm not saying like shouting and screaming. I'm making things happen. I watched who was it? I watched the other day. I think it was the Bournemouth game. I think all right, they lost in the end, but they were throwing their bodies on the line. And no, I'll tell you, it was today. It was today when Martinelli went through. Fantastic run, but. And then the fella made a diving tackle on him right at the end there. He's got up and giving it and all that. Like when there's a hunger with their defending. I don't see that with Arsenal. I don't know why it's not there, and it worries me a little bit. And that corner today, it just sort of like, oh well, let's go up the other end and we might score and all that. I don't want to see that. I want to see like having a go at each other. Like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Gabriel and Saliba having a little bit of go at each other because something. I like that. That's what you want to see, because you want to be, as a defender, it's like a clean sheet's like scoring goals for a striker. You want as many as you can. I don't think that we've got that desire to keep clean sheets at this moment in time. And I'm sorry if we don't buckle up on that. And I'll tell you what. The greatest thing I've, because I've just been on Twitter just before coming, I've just seen Mikel has mentioned it, hasn't he? He has said we've got to defend better. So I'm glad he has. I'm glad they're highlighting it. So because when you win, win can cover up 1,000 sins, can't it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, but we need to address this and make sure it don't happen going into the game against Fulham. Because now I'm going into the game against Fulham thinking, to beat Fulham on Sunday, I think we've got to score 2 goals, because we're going to concede a goal. If you're going to be winning titles and all that, like that's not the way to be going. We're going to concede 2 goals. We've got 3. Our record in the last few games, as you say, like 2 against Bournemouth. Bournemouth, come on, 2 against Bournemouth, 2 tonight, 3 against City, 2 against Aston Villa. These are sides that, taking away Manchester City, are not really like the best teams in Europe or the best teams in the league, and they're getting 2 goals against us. It's a big worry, boys.
Am I right in saying Onana's goal for Everton was a corner? Was that a corner as well?
There wasn't. It was Tarkowski scored, wasn't it?
Yeah, Tarkowski.
Sorry, Tarkowski. Sorry.
Yeah, it's from a set piece. So that was a corner.
Brentford's was a set piece. Long ball into the box. They don't deal with it.
Yeah, Brentford.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Bournemouth. So there's 3. What was the game before?
Tonight's
Aston Villa. Did they get one from a set
Villa
piece?
wasn't a set piece.
No.
Yeah, look, it is it's frustrating. But like I said, I sort of trust the people involved to sort it out. And I'm with you, Turkish. That Kivior one is so funny because it's one extreme to the other. It's either awful from him or completely understandable. And what I mean by that is, if Turner's giving you a shout, like, he's got to listen to his keeper, because he's clearly trying to get out of the way for his keeper to claim if he's heard a shout. But if he hasn't heard a shout, then it's like, and I don't mean to be rude, he's a new guy, he's young, and I thought he did some nice things today, by the way. I actually don't think it was a bad performance. I thought he started the game really well, but if he has just ducked, it's actually under 10 stuff. Like it's, I don't want to hit the ball. Oh, that came in a bit quick, didn't it? Oh, and I can't believe that that's surely not what it is. I'm 99.9% sure he didn't go, oh God, no thanks. Like it must have just been, because even then, even if you don't think you're going to get to the ball, defenders will just stand or a little hop or something. Like the fact that he actively went like this shows me that there must have been something from Turner. And you're right, that step forward and then retreating back wasn't great either. So I will also say on the Sporting goals, I know we're talking about from the Arsenal perspective, and don't get me wrong, the defending on that set piece was awful, but there's also a degree of well played to Sporting. Like their ball into the box was really good, and the header was really good. And then that second goal, I know that you said they were awful, Jordan, but that pass from Marcus Edwards, that reverse pass in between 2 players, if Odegaard does that, we're going magician. He's picked a lot. That's brilliant. And
for the second goal,
yeah.
2v4. I know that it was a very good pass, granted, but it's essentially 2 players against 4 of ours. They shouldn't be getting through, but it was a good pass. Yeah,
I look
100%. I just think, and if Eddie were there to tap it in, we'd have gone, oh, alert. I'm not saying it's not bad, it is, but I just think in any goal you concede, there's always errors. Like in every single goal we've ever conceded, there will have been an error in there, and I think to a degree, Sporting also showed quality in their goals, and it is what it is. That's why I think 2-2 was a fair result, because I didn't come away going, oh, if we just defended better, we'd have won that game. I came away going, no, they more than deserved their thing from that game, and we got our bit too.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to the second goal now, yeah, we had players in the box, but I look at Saliba and Ben White for that, because as a defender, especially a modern day defender, you have to be preemptive with your thoughts.
Yeah, that's true.
And the player that scored, I forgot who it was, but he got in between them both. And I know, someone said it on stream, it happened very quickly. Yeah, it did happen very quickly, but that's part of a defender's job to think, where's the danger? I'm nowhere near the attacker with the ball at the moment that's about to take the shot, but where can I position myself to there isn't a follow-up to it, and they both failed in that regard.
Can I give some sorry,
go on, Jason. You go.
Well, I'll just say just a couple positives on the defensive front, where just before that goal was scored, Saliba with a brilliant clearance. Remember when they crossed it low across the box, and he did really well to get across and scoop it out. It's kind of a shame, because that'll be forgotten amongst the fact that he didn't do great on the goal. But I actually thought he had a really good performance overall, Saliba. Don't know if the goal gave him confidence, but I thought he looked like as comfortable on the ball as he's been for a while. And I thought his one-on-one defending, there were moments like when he was pulled out of position. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't perfect, but I thought he did quite well. But I also thought Tomiyasu's cameo was really, really good. I thought he came on, and the more I watch him, the more I'm thinking he is a left back. Like he does the Zinchenko coming inside thing better than he does the overlapping like Ben White thing. if you know what I mean. Which is why it wouldn't surprise me if we go for a right back in the summer rather than a left back if Tierney were to leave. I think you might just see Tomiyasu as the
No,
solution.
we were linked to the right back in January, right? The young
Of
one.
course, Fresneda, yeah.
Gordon, you was about to mention something about Saliba.
Yeah, no, it sounds a bit harsh now that James just praised him there, but I get the whole he's a young defender. I don't. The age thing shouldn't really matter because when we praise him, we did praise him hard. Best defender in Europe. We gassed him up pre-World Cup. We got to call him out for when it goes wrong. I'm holding him to the same standards. That second goal, I think he's got to do better. I agree with James. I think overall the game, I thought he had a good game, but that can't happen. That can't happen, and he's learning, and I get all that. I'm not bashing the guy, but I looked at that and thought, that's not good. That's not good defending. So yeah, I just wanted to learn from that because his post World Cup form. All right, you could put it down to he hit a very good high pre World Cup, and maybe he's kind of just come down to a normal level as a young guy that's learning. But I'm not having a lot of his performances post World Cup. I think he's been concerning.
Bless you, Lee. What was the thought process when the second goal did go in the stadium? What was the atmosphere like?
Well, it's a very strange atmosphere because I don't know if you know, there's a lot of empty seats there, because a lot of the fans are protesting because of the high ticket pricing, so they didn't go. And also, I don't know if you noticed, it was like it filled up halfway through because there was a train broke down or something, and there was loads of Arsenal fans didn't get there till at least 20 minutes into the game. But when we went 2-1 down, there was a sense of like, oh well, we need to do something special here. I always felt that. I don't know if you felt that we always looked like we might score. We always looked quite good on the attack. So
it's what I mean. I don't think we played badly. Like I thought.
No.
I don't think we were creating loads of chances, but I also think there was a degree of we were in second gear, if that makes sense. I
get that. I think that we felt that we could step up, and probably we did. Got a bit fortunate with the goal. I felt then that we was more likely to win the game. And then there was a spell about 10, 15 minutes towards the end where it was like a basketball game. It could have either gone either way. And I think that's why Mikel brought on Thomas Partey to get the control of the game and probably go, okay, we're settled for a 2-2, which by any standards in a European game, if you're playing knockout football, is not bad away from home. It gives us the chance, and especially without, these are sort of going, when you draw 2-2 away, you probably wish there was away goals, but like there ain't away goals, so it's just a straight slog out now for and we've got home advantage, and I think that we'll probably get the job done. But I like the way we responded from the guy. I felt that you're right, they should have been 1-0 up in the great run, but done everything apart from the finish. Then we got into the game. Martinelli should have scored in the second half as well. Like, I don't really know what happened. He was clean through. Not the great run one. He did he chip the goalkeeper? I don't really know what happened.
It was a good save. It was actually a great save in my opinion.
Was it? I mean, from where we see it, everybody was jumping up thinking it was a goal because it looked like it was a goal. But I felt when we went 2-1 down, there was a good response. And I look at it today, and I think I don't know about you. I feel a bit strange. The Bournemouth game, I even though we was 2-0 down, I felt we was playing well. It's a funny old fit. And I felt that today, even though we was 2-1 down, I thought, no, we'll come back. And then when we scored, I thought maybe we'd go on and win 3-2. But we didn't. Jordan's always made the point over the sort of last 6 to 8 months, if you can't win the game, don't lose it. And I think that we done that in the end. There was a thing. We could have lost that game as well today, guys, and come away, being a little bit worrying situation when you go, because when you're a goal down, and it gives the opposition, dare I say it, like AC Milan last night, it gives them that incentive just to defend deep and make sure it don't. So I think that being level is got to be in our favour. But I thought it was I thought it was a really, really good game. I thought we played really well. There were some very, very good things to look at. I thought Martinelli today caused problems. I think that you have to say that, for me, it's a good thing today. I don't think Saka was at his best today, but we still look like we can open teams up and things like that. So I think there's positives to take from today. We haven't lost, and we do look like we can score at any time at times. I know that sounds fun. We've got a couple of goals today, but everybody looks like they may contribute with a goal. Today it was Saliba that come along, like Saturday it was Reece Nelson, who, by the way, started off like a train, I thought, first 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But then he faded, obviously match fitness and all that. Like, listen, I felt it was good that Smith Rowe come on and got some minutes there. I can tell we got locked in for 30 minutes after the game. They don't let you out. And Smith Rowe and Partey come out and done an extra bit. And I can tell you what, Smith Rowe, the fella put him through it. He could hardly walk when he walked off that pitch. You know what I mean? Like, so, we're getting a couple of players back fit, but I do think we lack that little cutting edge up front. You know what I mean? Like, dare I say it, we missed a little bit of Eddie today, like someone that can just play that role. I don't know what's going on with him. Has kept that very, very quiet. But that's the other thing, guys, is that we're without Jesus, without Eddie, and without Trossard, the players that can play number 9. We still look like we could score goals with 3 players that would all be in that team if they weren't injured. So there were pluses for me. There were pluses.
That's a huge. Go on, John. I keep interrupting you.
I told you play Saka. I knew he'd start Saka.
Yeah, you did say that.
I knew he'd start Saka. He's playing Saka every game he can, and I'm not. Look, it's we can say this now because Saka didn't break his leg or pull a hamstring, so it's fine. Maybe I wouldn't say this if he had, but I'm not actually mad at it. I'm not actually mad that he played Saka, because his thinking must be, you're young enough to play these games. I think he said it in an interview recently as well. The best players in the world play 50, 60, 70 games a season. So he has to get used to playing 50, 60, 70 games a season. He has to get used to it. If you want to be the best winger in the world, they're the numbers of games you've got to play. So he's just getting his body maybe used to playing twice a week. Now, look, the back end of the season, if he burns out, people will be saying, oh, it's because he played that away game in Lisbon. I personally won't. He's in the groove. Let the boy play. And just on the point about Eddie Nketiah, I need to know now what's going on there. That's 2 games now. I need to. Do we know what's going on there?
Reminds me of the Tomiyasu one.
Maybe we don't know because it's game to game. Maybe it's just a case of he'll be back on Sunday.
But at least tell us why he was out in this game. I don't mind if he misses games, but just tell us why.
Okay.
When I don't hear why, I'm like...
Arsenal and Arteta are very quiet about very weird things. Like, why not just tell us why Eddie's... But it was the same with Tomiyasu.
Yeah.
He was out for months.
Ages.
Like, we were being told he was weeks away for months. For months, it was a couple of weeks or whatever. Then the next thing you know, he's kind of back in April. That was all very, very weird as well. So yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there. Even with Trossard, like, I've not really seen it confirmed anywhere how long it could possibly be. When you ask him about Jesus, he goes, "Well, he's not close, but he's not far." We were talking about this.
Yeah, what was all that about, by the way?
What is it? Tell us. I don't know why, but I don't know what is it? So the opposition are not sure whether to expect Eddie or Tomiyasu at left back.
With all due respect, we're not talking about Messi or bloody Lewandowski here. I don't think the opposition are going to be too concerned about Eddie Nketiah.
What's all that about Jesus, by the way? Because over here we was getting rumours that he travelled, and he could actually.
No, he
play
did travel. He did travel, but they just want him around the group, and I think he'll be part of the warm down and stuff and all that. He's not.
He never come down. He wasn't at the warm down afterwards, or nothing like that. So we was all saying, we said we might see him. Didn't even see him. So what was the point in being there if that was the case? No one see him. I didn't see him at the game. I didn't see him on the bench. He wasn't, but there was all these rumours going around. It was quite exciting, if I'll be honest, that he was like he was out here and he was going to play. And then all of a sudden, like, nothing. And it was a little bit of a, can I say it really? I was a little bit disappointed that he wasn't, because we'd sort of been hyped up with all these photos and everything. Is he going to play Sunday then? Is that the reason? I don't know.
I think you're all getting what it's not your fault if you're hearing rumours. But I never heard anything. Like, there was no talk around us here in London that or we might be seeing Jesus. Like, obviously, on the starting 11 show, we'll talk about the main talking topics, and I don't think Jesus came up once. I mean, I don't think there was any expectation that. I mean, Turkish and I did the live show, and we theorized that he might be early on a bench one day, or he might get a couple minutes in the last 2 games before the international break. But I never really thought he was going to be getting any minutes.
Didn't he just start training like a few days ago?
It's been a couple weeks now.
I think they're keeping that quiet as well. I think he's actually been playing. I mean, the way he's charging around, getting mauled by Thomas Partey. Like, I think if you've seen that photo go around, you'll know. Like, I think they are. Like, I think he's well and truly playing football now. But they're just taking their time.
Last week there was not necessarily photos of Jesus, but he was in the background of some of the training photos, which started the rumors and a bit of the hype. This week they brought out the photos of him actually training. And like I said to James in the live the other day, I feel like next Thursday against Sporting, 20-30 minutes. Next Sunday against Crystal Palace, 20-30 minutes. 11-day international break, and then he starts the Leeds game. That's just how I predict it's going to go. But for Anfield, I'd like to at least get him a few minutes, to say the least, under his belt.
Can we give Arsenal some credit, in fairness, though, for playing 12 of the 26 league games without Gabriel Jesus, and getting ourselves in the position we're in. And, okay, we went out of the FA Cup to City, and we've had this game against Sporting, so there's not really been much else to focus on. But, we've had to go into some big games without a key player. And, upon Jesus' return, let's say it is Thursday next week, we'll be, at worst, we'll be a win away at home from progressing to the next round and still ahead of Man City, as Jesus returns. That's really good work from everyone. And he's really crucial for us, because I think what we've missed with him is that kind of guile, and that, the way, like, I think Arsenal ranked for, I think Jesus, Saka, Martinez were up there for like the highest dribblers in Europe's top 5 leagues, like around the time the World Cup started. Because one of the things Arsenal did so well was there's breaking a team down by playing really good football and pass and move. And then there's, I'm just going to run around 3 of you. And when I run around 3 of you, there's only 6 of you left, or whatever. Like, I think there's that unpredictability that Jesus brings that we've really missed. And while everyone's done really well to, pick the lock and find the pieces to the puzzle to break teams down, Jesus is the kind of player that goes, I'm going to feint this way, then that way, and I've taken 2 of you out, and the game opens up and we're going to score. So I'm really looking forward to having him back. I think he could be a massive boost for us.
Yeah, and I think you're right to give credit for the 12 games that he's been missing, because I know when he got injured how I was feeling about it, and how I felt in January. We really need to do something to stay in the ascendancy or in the title race conversation. But credit to Eddie, who hit the ground running up front. Credit to Arteta and the team who brought in Trossard, because he's played his part over the last few weeks as well. But now they're both out too, which poses the problem for Sunday. And we're going to get into Sunday.
Unlucky, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. All 3 of our potential strikers are out at the moment, but
and Smith Rowe not fully fit, so that's like a 4th player in the front there. I know Smith Rowe's been getting minutes, but you just know he's not fully ready yet. But anyway, fair enough.
I was actually surprised to see Vieira leading the line for us today when the substitutions were made, which is something different.
Strange that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, something different, I guess. We've seen Emil Smith Rowe play up front for us as well. In the Europa League, I think was it against Villarreal?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, semi-final. Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely not ideal. And to just going back to the game and 2-2 being a fair result, we was a whisker away from losing that game, in my opinion. Because when we went 2-1 down, Sporting went straight through again a few minutes later.
Should have scored.
And it was a poor finish. He should have scored. I mean, Kivior done well to get back, but really and truly the player should have buried that, and it would have been 3-1. And that 3-1, I didn't see us getting back into the game. I know we've talked about creating chances and whatnot, but even the goal we scored to make it 2-2, luck. 100% luck. Yeah. There's nothing else to it but luck, that goal. I mean, even the deflection itself, and then it nested him right into the corner of the goal, leaving the keeper no chance. I mean, essentially, I feel like, you know, we was lucky to get back into it. We deserved to finish 2-2, but, you know, whisker away from potentially losing that game. And like Lee said, you lose the first game, teams will set up to stifle and you know, ruffle feathers in the second one to try and hold that lead. Anything else on the Sporting game? Actually, one more question from me. Do we go stronger next week against them next Thursday now?
Depends on the Fulham game.
Why?
I think if we lose the Fulham game, I think Mikel Arteta will I think he'll bog off the Europa League. Personally, I think he'll be like,
really?
Nah. Yeah. If Fulham beat us, I don't think you'll see Saka in the return leg. I don't think you'll see. You might see one of our centre backs, either Saliba or Gabriel.
Why is that? Because surely he'd go if we've lost. It's like, oh, you know, this Premier League's still in the balance. Like, do we really want to throw away another competition?
I think, although he's a winner, and that's why I was confident he would pick Saka and go strong-ish, and he wants to win every single game that Arsenal play in. I think, I'm just kind of speculating here, but I'm guessing that if we lose on the weekend and City win on the weekend, it then feels like, okay, we've got a 2-point lead, but nah, you have to go to City and they've got a better goal difference. I think he might double down on the league, and so I personally think how he plays next week is determined by the result on the weekend. I don't think he'll
make a couple of changes. I think he'd do similar to what he's done tonight. I think, but it'd be like Holding coming in instead of and Gabriel be the two. So Saliba dropping out. I maybe Saka gets a rest in this one. So I think that he'll do that. Like, you know, I think that he'll keep it like it was. I was a little bit surprised how strong he went for this one. I don't think it was. I thought he was quite. You know, Martinelli and Saka both playing. I didn't expect that. I expected one of them, not both. Obviously,
Eddie's injuries kind of.
He kind of had to.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, Smith Rowe he could have thrown into to give him more extra minutes, but I think he's felt like no, he had 60 minutes the other day, so he needs to just get 20 and all that. Like, I think he's. I've been quite encouraged by the way he seems to be dealing with this at this moment, Mikel. I don't think he's gone too over the top or too far one way or the other. I thought he got it just right today, and you know. The good thing about it, come next Thursday, we ain't got this travelling lark. I know it sounds silly, but like, you know, I know they've gone straight back today. Like, you know, next week you can everybody will be there. I ain't got to travel, so I still think that it's very important to Mikel this game. I felt that with the team selection today.
I want him to go strong, and I said this on Full Time. I'm not digging out Ben White here. I appreciate the guy has a lot of yards to cover. And I actually said on Full Time, he probably registers more sprints a game than any other Arsenal player because of the way he always bombs up and down to help Saka. But I watched him at the end of the game. There are a few kind of moments where he put in some crosses that didn't quite get where they want. And his hands and his knees looking exhausted. And I was kind of thinking, and then the usual kind of Twitter discussion started about Saka and White looking absolutely shattered and blah, blah, blah. And I was kind of thinking to myself, like, you've actually played less football than a normal Champions League side would. I mean, Man City would have had to have gone quite strong in their Champions League group games, and they went further in the Carabao Cup, and they're going further in the FA Cup. And there's no round of 32 like the Europa League normally would have. We're straight into the round of 16. So I don't want this whole, like, we have to, like, rest them for every single European or game that's not the Premier League. They've got to get used to playing a lot of football.
I agree.
Earlier with Saka. But I mean the whole squad. Like, I don't want to get to the end of the season and go, oh, poor Ben White, he looks shattered, you know, all that European run. So what do you mean? This is just standard amount of
just the way it should be.
Football in a season. And then other things come into it, you know, the demands from Arteta, the high press, it's other things. And I appreciate that, which is why, you know, I reserve a degree of judgment, but I think he should be able to go strong against Sporting. We've got 3 games in London: Fulham, Emirates. Come on, they get back today. Then they got 2 games. It's 2 days. Then we play on Sunday in Fulham, and then it's 2 home games, and then it's a whole international break, and then they're back for another home game.
Well, it's not 2 days though, is it? They won't get back to the morning. By the time they get home,
They're flying back tonight.
I know, but what time do they land?
Yeah, okay, but fine. I hear your point, but largely, I mean, look, the travel stress is not very big over the next 2 and a bit weeks. It's really not, and nor is it's not like, and then it's Chelsea away on the weekend, and then it's Liverpool at home. Like, with all due respect to these sides, who will be tough, of course they will be. Fulham are actually higher than Chelsea in the league. So
I was going to say that as well. Yeah.
But my point is, it's not like nasty North London derby, or these games that we're looking at, this horrible fixture list. Like, they can play. The first team can play. Give them the minutes. Play. Win your games. Just
to be clear, to Curtis' question, I would go strong next week, regardless. I was just saying that I think Arteta will judge his team based on what happens against Fulham. Just linking to that tonight's game and the Fulham game. I don't want to do this whole every week is the pivotal week of the season, but this week I think is an interesting one, because this is where the season becomes for me about squad depth. I said after the United win that our season starts from now, because that was the first time I felt, well, the bookie said it as well. It was the first time also we became favourites, and that comes with different kind of pressure. Although we were ahead of City before the United game, that win, it was like, no, we're actually the favourites, and that brings a different kind of pressure. But now it's about squad depth and how you use it, because City haven't played this week. They've got a game on the weekend. We've had a toughish game tonight. We've got to go to Fulham, who are a good team. This is one of those games where I'm very big on performances. Some games in the season, I think performances you need, but good performances when you're top of the table equate to 9 times out of 10 winning the game. Sunday's not about that for me. Sunday's about, it's one of those, just get the win. Just get through the game and get the win. Fulham are no joke. And I think if we drop points on the weekend, my concern will be that the narrative will be, Arsenal in Europe is taking its toll. Players are a little bit leggy. Players aren't quite on it. And Fulham will be looking to respond after their defeat on Monday as well. So I'm really, this is a really big game in the sense that we just can't give City any incentive, any sniff that we are slipping up. We've got to make City play their game ahead of us. They'll probably win their game. Watch our game on Sunday, hoping for a draw, drop points, and they've done it again. We've really got to find a way to win this game on the weekend, because, like I say, Fulham are no joke, and unlike City, we're coming off the back of a tough midweek game. So the boys just got to find a way to win. I don't care about performances. Just win the game. You're allowed 2 or 3 performances from me over the course of a season when you win a title where you weren't that good. You might have been a bit lucky, but you got the win. This for me is one of those games.
On to Fulham then, and we spoke about Trossard missing, Eddie missing, Odegaard being ill. Looking at the lineup we played tonight, Ramsdale will come back in, Gabriel will come back in, and Thomas Partey will come back in.
Yeah.
Depending on Odegaard's health, Vieira would start in his place. But would that be the front 3 we go for against Fulham on Sunday, considering our options?
Yeah.
Lee?
I think if Eddie's fit, we'll actually go for Eddie. If Eddie were fit. And I think Nelson would drop back to the bench, but
big if, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think keep it the same. I don't think Smith Rowe is quite ready yet.
I forget Smith Rowe's an option. Yeah, of course.
So, but he is an option. He's an option that can play, which was strange for me today, where he was playing. I didn't really know where he was playing, because I thought, like, if you're going to use him, you can use him as the option as the false 9, but they didn't really play him there. He sort of played just behind Vieira in the end. But I look at Smith Rowe. I'm a big fan of Smith Rowe. I do like him as a footballer, but you can tell that he's one of these guys. We've all played with players. You get players like that come back and they're naturally fit, and they come back straight away. And then there's players that take a few games, and Smith Rowe's one of those that's going to take a few games to get back to his sharpness, and you can see that he's been off of it a little bit, and he needs to be on point. So I think that
we need him.
We do need him, and I think that I'll be very, very disappointed if he's not starting on Thursday in the next game. I think he needs a good real workout. But listen, I felt Nelson done okay today and deserved his chance. And as I say, I think he's another one which he looks. Do you know what? He's had a long time out, but he looks a little bit sharper than Smith Rowe. So I would go with Nelson. It is a worry now that we're lacking, on the bench today. Who comes on to change it as far as goals are concerned? We haven't got that at this moment in time.
Yeah.
So we need these guys back. We need Eddie. These are the games when you need. I'm not being horrible to Eddie when I say this is where you need Eddie, because you've got 3 games a week now, and you need to be taking a bit of a load off of certain players. Martinelli today, I'm getting to that stage where he's going down every couple of minutes. Went down a couple of times, and there was one time, and I don't mean this horribly, on Vieira. Vieira was down, and I've gone, I hope that's not Martinelli. You know what I mean? And it wasn't. And you think, oh well, I'm glad it's Vieira, but I wasn't glad it was Vieira. Really, just didn't want it to be Martinelli, because what happens if he goes down now? Yeah. We're in real trouble. So we need to get some of these guys back, and. So that is a big worry for me. But yeah, that front 3 done okay today. I think that it's got to be in there. And as you say, why when you think about it, you've played Saka all this game over here. Why would you go and not play a strong team next Thursday? You know what I mean? So when this is a really tough game, so I'll go with that front 3. I think that Martinelli, Saka, and Nelson will just be enough to get us through over Fulham, I'll be honest.
But this for me is also, Turkish, where it becomes about mentality again. This is where Arteta is going to earn his money, because yes, we've got some key players up front missing 100%, but we just got to get on with it. We just got to power through. This time next month, we could have Jesus, Nketiah, and Trossard all back, and hopefully Smith Rowe up to scratch. We've just got to. And Odegaard, we've just got to tough it out for the next couple of games. The guys, I don't want to hear any excuses. I keep thinking to the end of May, and City have won the title, and we're just, oh yeah, but we had these players out. I don't want to hear that nonsense. The time is now. He's got to get the team focused, step up. Listen, guys, I don't want to hear any whinging. I know you might be a bit leggy from Thursday. Just go and win. That sounds easier said than done. I know what I'm saying is very simple and very, very basic. But we're in a title challenge here. We cannot blow this. We can't blow this. I don't want to hear any excuses in 3-4 weeks' time. Fine, this is a hard period. We've worked too hard to get to this period. Grind it out, and then the other side will be fun times. But he's got to really get the team focused now on not what we haven't got, but what we have got. And the focus is we beat Fulham. Lads, find a way to beat Fulham.
I think they are getting on with it. I actually think I think the response to Bournemouth. I know we've talked a lot about the defending being poor, but when you're talking about character, I think obviously the response against Bournemouth, brilliant. I thought the response to conceding both goals against Sporting were really good. I actually thought when we considered the equaliser, they had some chances, but I thought there was a sharpness I liked. You could see Arsenal trying to wake up and bounce back from it, and then really when they went 2-1 up, lucky goal, but really we then ended. Literally from, I know they had other opportunities, I know, but I thought we were largely pretty good in our response to going 2-1 down, and we found a goal back. So I'm not really worried about them getting on with it. But what I don't want to see is players looking leggy against Fulham. Like, it will be, and it's hard. What the hell do I know? I can't go for a 20-minute run without being exhausted and then ordering some chicken wings to make myself feel better. But, I don't want to see the players looking exhausted, and I'm going, guys, it's the beginning of March. Like, it's a long way to go here. You've only been to the lovely Lisbon and then Craven Cottage. I mean, we need to see Arsenal.
That's a little bit harsh, I think, James. If this was a month ago, I'd agree. But this is the point of the season now where if you've played most of the season, you've been to a World Cup, and now you've been in European games, this is the part where I think players do start to get leggy. And this is the difference between us and City. I talk about squads. City, even if they had a game this week, they can put out a complete new front three, a complete team, and the quality doesn't dip. We haven't got that luxury. So I'm saying in one breath, even if you are leggy, I don't care. Just get on with it. Yeah.
Okay,
Just power
I think that's
through.
more what I mean. Like, be
Yeah,
tired, don't show it. Like,
Okay.
I'm a massive Lee. You know, we like our tennis. I'm a massive Andy Murray fan, right? But he does this thing almost every match I watch him, where he's sort of
think he's
dragging his
dead.
heels around the court, and he's just, and I get he's had injury problems, and then he comes through and wins. I'm like, I don't want Arsenal to show any just.
Show no weaknesses.
A little bit, just I don't know. Turkish, where are you on this whole looking leggy, tired amount of games we're playing? Because I'm normally one to sympathise a lot on these things, but even I don't see where this massive stacking up of games has come that means we should be going into this week looking exhausted.
I agree with you. I mean, I always say it generally about football, and I look back at 90s, early 2000s, and I know there's the work rates moved on, and modern day football requires every player to run. But I just think of it as, the players back in the day used to play 50 games. Strongest team in the league, strongest team in the Champions League, strongest team pretty much in the FA Cup too, more often than not. And with all of this new, nutrition, with all of the new physio stuff, with all of this extra technology they have, I don't know how
information intake as well.
Yeah, there's a bit more protection applied to it all. I'm like Jordan as well. I'm just like, just work, just do your job. You're paid nicely. You go and play football. You're lucky to be in this position. And listen, someone said to a comment I made last episode, the players are not robots. I know this. I know they're not robots. But at the end of the day, they've done so well to get here, where the end is in sight, and the end is the Premier League trophy. That surely
you got to suffer a little bit.
The line, you got to pull it
You're
out.
earning.
My opinion, exactly. Exactly. Let me bring up the prediction table anyway, because someone predicted 2-2. Everyone else predicted an Arsenal win.
Oh my God, I'm miles
and he's still 5 points behind.
Yeah.
Still
when I did that, I had to double check I did it right, but yeah, he was quite.
How far were you pulled up? I thought, I can't believe he's not added my points yet.
Lee, I gotta apologize, and I think James might. Well, I don't think James will want to apologize, but you did go 1-1, and we kind of talked you out of for a draw.
Mind games works.
My own fault. I watched it back.
Sorry.
I did fancy a draw for this game. I actually went 1-1. And
bottled it, innit? You bottled it, innit? You bottled it.
James said, "How dare you?" You know what I mean? And he made me change it to 2-1, and then went 2-2 himself.
Look, we got in your head. You're pathetically.
You bottled it.
We got in your head. I mean, I can't believe you didn't see through it.
No, I'm not annoyed at you, James. I'm annoyed at myself. You know what I mean? It was very, very disappointing. But listen, I've got to say this while we're talking about this. I don't know if you remember a couple of weeks ago, we sort of said, we've got to have the wooden spoon for who comes last. You know what I mean? Now, unbelievably, gone to the game today, and a guy called Cameron has come up to me with his girlfriend today, and he's made us 2 spoons. Handmade. Look at that, you know what I mean? Let's put them over in there, Now, this one actually is too good to go to someone like James.
Nice
bottom. It's very, very nice, handmade. So he actually then went and made another little cheapo one like that. You know what I mean?
Why are you calling his work cheap?
No. It was his words. He said he was so proud of this one. He felt it was too good to go to you, James. So he said he'd do this one quickly. And even though it's still a good job. But anyway, I found a little stirrer in the hotel, so we can have this one as well. So you can have that one, and you can have that one. Maybe this one goes to the winner. So either myself, Turkish, or Jordan.
There you go.
Lee, I'd be sweating if I were you in third place. I'm on my way.
I've got no panic about that. I've got more chance of growing here than coming on. Okay. But
I wouldn't disagree with that, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be worried about it.
Thank you, Cameron, man. We really
someone watched the episode and decided to make us a couple of spoons for that.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
It shows you what we're doing with this podcast.
Was it an Arsenal fan that travelled over, or a Portuguese
No, he lives in Portugal, but he's like an Arsenal fan, like, you know what I mean.
yeah.
So he see the episode and he said, "Oh, I'm going to make him a couple of spoons, for you, James." You know what I mean. So you should feel more honoured.
James, you spoon.
Spoony James.
all
But
the
what
spoons,
what a marvellous thing to do. And I can
That's
tell you,
very-
like, you know,
it's amazing. Thank you.
they are fantastic spoons as well. Like, you know, he's done a very, very good job. Handcrafted, not you know, not just gone out and bought and made them himself. Like, you know, I don't know when I said that in that episode. It weren't that long ago. So obviously,
No.
like, knowing we was over here as well in Portugal, he decided to do that. So
Yeah.
what a marvellous thing to do.
Thank you, Cameron. I want to win the league even more now. I can't lie, that red spoon does look like it.
Yeah, what we do is we're signing them as well, like, you know what I mean. So
Nah, don't
you know.
devalue the fucking thing. Just give me the spoon.
Why did we sign him? Turkish at home, eating with a spoon, going.
Well,
can
I
sign
think
this.
it's like you just put on a little block and, like, you know, as a trophy thing. I think it's really nice. You know what I mean? So,
It is.
all right, sorry, we won't sign it. That's the trophy.
Turkish will show his friends and family. Look at this. See that one? That's Sharoy's signature. That. Yeah.
Well, you want to be the fourth on the bottom. Like, I was sort of like, you know, like, we could do it 1, 2, 3, 4. Like,
Yeah, we can't see it. There you go. Well done.
No, I'm on Cecil's camera here, like, you know what I mean. So you want to see, like, I've got. I don't know if you heard that snoring a little while ago, because that was that's Julian gone to sleep, like that.
Is Julian there right now?
How many of you in that room? How many of you there?
There's 4 of us in the room, like, you know.
Bloody hell.
We're not actually
AFTV budgets there, yeah.
No, we've got a room downstairs.
Okay.
Cecil and Brennan somehow wangled an upgrade. Can you believe that? They got an upgrade, like. So it's actually a nice room, like, you know. So our one's not so, you know, not so spacey. But
Where are they?
yeah,
Are they around now?
yeah. I don't know if you can see them. There they are. As soon as you mention camera, Julian wakes up. Look, like, I'll tell you what, like, I'm not. Julian loves coming on these trips, like, because he gets involved with the camera stuff. I've never seen a man.
I hope there's no custard of that.
Yeah.
He watches himself more than a bloke does in the mirror shaving. It's incredible, like, you know what I mean.
I tell you what, Julian looked absolutely finished. As you spun the camera around, I just saw him in bed.
I know, yeah.
He started
A little while ago. Do you know, talk about make yourself at home, you know what I mean? Like, I'm surprised you ain't at Cecil's Biscuits, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so
Don't talk too soon, Lee. Don't talk too soon.
we're meant to be going out now, but I don't see like we can do it, like, you know what I mean?
No.
Right. Speaking of bed.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of bed.
What about comments? I've got my comment.
Yeah. Let me tell the audio listeners what the table's looking like at the moment while you get your comments up. 35 games played, 35 predictions made. I'm on 32. Jordan's on 31. Lee's on 30. So no movement there. And James got all 3 points this week with the 2-2 draw. He's on 25 points, people. 25 points. And the round of applause is coming from James.
It ain't going to come from anybody else, is it? Everybody
Thank
else.
you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, I was due this. My expected predicted scores has actually been really good recently.
Yeah.
I've just been a bit unlucky. So delighted with that. Well, no, because we drew and I'd rather we won. But otherwise, I'm delighted with that.
Yeah, you're moving like Jordan.
We're all delighted.
Wow.
No, hold on. Jordan came in on the back of like a defeat. I was like, come on, Pete.
Yeah, I know, he did, yeah.
Shameless.
Put it in the chat as well.
Shameless.
Everyone got their comments ready?
Yes, I got my comment ready.
No, so I'll go last. Carry on.
So I go first then, as I'm the one that's organised.
I've got mine. Go on.
I've put on there. Just imagine, this is from the British Bushman. Just imagine how far this podcast could go if they all liked each other. I like that one.
I saw that one.
Spot on.
It's bang on, to be fair.
You got one for us, Jordan, or 7 as usual?
No, just the one. But before I kind of say it, I got a bit of a kick in the comments this week. People were not having my comments about the team lineup for the Europa League game. And I don't listen. We're trying to be nice here, so I won't say what I want to say. but there were some people that really didn't understand my point about character versus weapons. And I'm not going to say what I'm going to call what I really call them because I'm being nice. But there was a lot of people in the comments. But the one, I have. But the one comment I've got is from Beachman, who just simply put, "Wanging the custard, best pod." I like that. Wanging the custard, best pod. Over 500 comments as well. There's lots of comments today.
Yeah, it was a big show, man. Big show. And everyone got it to 1,000 likes nice and early. I did check that. So let's have the same again this time round while James gets his one ready. I've actually got a reply to a comment as my comment of the day. So I'll say the original comment first, which is not my comment of the day. Then I'll read the reply. Ruin said, the best feeling of the season so far and the most negative episode. And he's got the rolling eye emoji. But this is the comment of the day for me. And James, you know I love you. But Dave Jordan, he replied to that comment and he said, you know, obviously, James, just to put some context behind it. Remember we spoke about recently how after a couple games, you started full-time show talking about, how the bumps in the road on the way. Dave said, James is only happy when we create 0.65 XG against Leicester. Nearly spunked himself to death over that game, but he was moaning after Everton.
It's true, though.
He nearly spunked himself to death over that game.
Oh, what a sophisticated comment.
Classy
comment there.
Yeah.
Follow that, James.
I was look, I've just been scrolling through the comments quite quickly actually, and I've dropped the ball. I didn't find one before, but
as you can see, PP takes it very seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I was too focused on the prediction league, unfortunately. I don't know what kind of excuse that is, but I was just having, on that negative thing, and I was just having, and there were a lot of comments talking about the negativity about that, and I think look, everyone wants different things from content, and I get that, but the raw emotion reaction post Bournemouth when we had that supremely, elated feeling, I think reflected how everyone was feeling. The Reece Nelson moment, full time, was just a bag of laughs and a load of fun, and the fan cams were great. This podcast is, I don't know what it is for you three, but for me, it is a real reflective look at everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When we lose to Man United 3-1, but we go through the positives on how well we played, and when we win, even in the most dramatic of manners, I guess it's different if you've won the league. I don't think we need to do a post-mortem on the game before. But when we are actually chasing a Premier League title, and we will have very high standards for the team, and we know to a degree what it's going to take to win the league in terms of standards, because we've seen City do it the last 4 or 5 years. I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about the things that didn't go right. And then what annoys me is when we highlight it, people say, oh, you're all negative, but then the same errors creep up in the game after. And we saw that Everton to Bournemouth to this one. So I understand it's not for everyone, but, there is a reason why we're not just going, let's be negative for the sake of being negative. I think everything we said is proving to be spot on. And I know it sounds very arrogant of me, but I don't think anything that we've been critical about hasn't only proven itself game after game very recently. That's all I'd say.
By the way, we didn't give our predictions for the Fulham game.
We're going to give them.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Jordan, you're tired, isn't it? You're rushing us. You're tired.
No. I thought we've gone from the last week predictions to comments.
He's up at 5. So
that's because Lee jumped in with the comments of the day.
Oh, okay.
We'll move on to that.
Sorry.
But I agree with you, James. I mean,
I agree too.
God forbid you raise one of the talking points that are not positive, and the whole negative stuff comes into effect. People need to stop being sensitive. At the end of the day, it's an hour-long podcast. We're going to talk about everything. And more often than not this season, our performances have been perfect. And it has been the perfect 3 points. But when there is something to talk about that might concern us, no one's going to hold their tongue about it.
Listen, if you want to see deluded, sycophantic, everything is amazing, we're brilliant type content, you can go to Ty or Julian for that sort of stuff. That stuff's out there, no problem at all. That's all right. But this podcast is a bit more considered. bit more analytical, and we delve deep into all the games. As James says, we lost to United. That's one of the most positive podcasts we've done this season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So we do it both ways. Anyway, love
No,
you,
when we
Julian.
lost to Everton,
Misfits.
well, when we lost to Everton, we didn't go overboard either. And you know, there is a lot of content out there that is massively praising Arsenal. I've got no issue with that, but I think also it can be easy for everyone to just in the moment get super carried away, and we're trying not to. That's all.
Yeah. Let's get into it. Prediction time. I'm still top of the table, so I kick it off. 3-1 Arsenal. 2-1 Arsenal.
No!
Oh, he changed it. He's
2-1
changed
Arsenal.
it.
I just realized we might have a striker, but yeah, 2-1 Arsenal. I think am I gonna stick with that 2-1, 3-1, 2-1, 3-1?
Well, have another 10 guesses if you want.
Got all night.
Didn't you change yours from 1-1 to 2-1 last week?
True.
Yeah, true.
I thought so.
You'll regret it now. You'll regret it now because it'll end up 3-1. You'll regret it.
There's goals coming from all over.
Right,
So.
that's my advice. Don't ever change.
Yeah, go with your initial gut feeling.
Yeah.
I'll stick to 3-1. It's 3 points is all that matters. I predict 3-1 a lot. I'm on top of the table by 5 points. 3-1.
I'm concerned. I've forgotten the guy's name. Big. He does fan cams. He does watch-alongs. You work with him in Turkish in the studio. What's his name? Big. He's huge. I met him last week. Gunnar Lee. He made a point about. I think he said every game between now and the end of the season, City play before us. I think
before the international break.
Okay, for the break. That for me is relevant. I think it's going to be a draw. I am concerned. I can't decide between 0-0 and 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1. No 1-1.
3-1, 1-1. Lee?
I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0, clean sheet.
I'm going
Clean sheet.
1-0 to the Fulham. No, 1-0 to Arsenal. 1-0 Arsenal. Come on.
How many Gunners?
Clean sheet.
Arsenal wins and a draw there from Jordan. All right, cool.
Ramsdale masterclass, I'm hoping.
You know what? I'm worried now because every time I think all Jordan's correct predictions have been 1-1. Am I lying?
I think all but one. I think.
Didn't you say 1-0 Everton? Did you say 1-0 Everton?
No.
He
said 0-0 Newcastle. Did you say 0-0 Newcastle?
When you went on that mad run of results, what were they?
What? You say mad run, it was 2.
To me, that's a mad run.
That was when I was away for a little while, so I think it must have been.
Sharai was in.
He got Brentford 1-1.
Stop hating on me. You shut up, Lee. It was Newcastle and Brentford.
And then Leicester the other day, 1-0.
That's right, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, 1-1.
Cool. There we have it. 3-1, 1-1, 2-0, and 1-0. People, let us know your predictions in the comments below. As always, let us know your thoughts on the podcast in general. The thoughts on Sporting lineups for Fulham. Pretty much picks itself if we're missing the players that we were missing against Sporting. But let us know your thoughts, comments, and all of that as usual. Anyway, big up Jordan, big up Lee, and big up James as always. Lee, hopefully you can go enjoy a night out now. It's still only 20 past midnight.
Wake up, Julian. Go on.
Yeah, he's still asleep. He's gone back to sleep again,
Wow.
We'll leave him here.
London's finest.
Catch it all on camera. Release the Hangover 4.
Or the Fourever Arsenal.
Well, he hasn't bought around since he's been here yet. He's done well, like, you know what I mean? So.
He's done well. Listen, we're gonna go out. We're gonna leave it now, people. We've gone over the hour again, so make sure you hit the like button. Get to 1,000 likes as always. Love for the love as always, and we'll be back after Fulham, before Sporting. Probably a Monday show next. But make sure you subscribe, notification bell on, and you'll know exactly when it is. We're out, people.